the intent is to counter, right? Is to run this guy into one of our shots, run this guy into a phase one.
Right now, with the goal being to just improve performance, recover from training, he's doing a lot of training. So as I said before, we're essentially training, refueling, eating, rehydrating, and just
one thing that does separate you from everybody else is this timing and control of distance that you really only get from a lot of sparring. Max Holloway, who's the elite of the elite, who said at this point in time, I don't spar anymore because I get banged up.
You know, he said that, dude, but I ran into him and I asked him, and he kind of like laughed, like, no, dude, I still spar. I just don't think he's... But here's the thing about Max Holloway, he's so fucking good. There's not many people who spar him that hit it.
Right.
Same with me. Again, I could get knocked out. Max get knocked out. I could go spar every single day, all day long, and I could say I don't really get to take damage. Because I proved it that stupid mouthpiece everywhere.
Right.
But you know, again, it just comes obsessive. I started training because I was the angry fucking kid. I turned out I love sparring, and it just makes me happier.
We got Jack down here, Jack Della with us. You know, I'm like a former champion and animal at 170, so I'm excited to have him in camp.
So no.
No. Hey, Murrah, are you excited for Conor McGregor's return?
I am actually, and I'm hoping to he can win, you know, because I love Max Holloway, but this is gonna be huge if he comes. He's coming back, but if he wins, like, and that would be huge, and because Conor McGregor done like, such a great things for MMA, for UFC, and I will be happy to see if he wins.
Do you think all Conor McGregor's time off and the partying and the nose drugs could inhibit his ability to beat Max Holloway?
I don't exactly understand your question, but I think he's so motivated, and then I mean, you are an athlete as yourself, and we love fighting, and it's never
say it with your chest out.
McGregor and Holloway too is really happening.
The return of Conor McGregor.
And this time,
hey, rivalry.
This time, welterweight, Henry. Let's welterweight, not featherweight. This time it's going to be at welterweight.
So that's your way, Kamaru.
What you trying to say?
I'm saying, man, maybe winner fights Kamaru Usman.
I'll be down for that. But
with that being said, Kamaru D, he hasn't fought for 5 years. Come July 10th, it's going to be 5 years. So I'm even going to say over 5 years for Conor McGregor.
Yes. Out in January on Fight Island, and then they rematched in Vegas, and that was when he broke his leg. And he hasn't fought since. But listen, yes, of course, a lot has happened in McGregor's life. He's gone through a lot. He's done a lot of different things. But man, I do believe he was special for what he did. He was special for a southpaw that can box like that and then kickbox like that, and then good taekwondo too, to be able to see shots and move. And he can grapple. I mean, obviously not the best. He could grapple. And then he's got the mouthpiece to promote, to be with it. It's what I want to see is really, how is this going to be promoted? How is he going to promote this? Because is it just enough, him just coming back, I'm back? Is that just enough? Or do you think he's going to go into his antics and really try to build this or whatnot? Because it's almost like I feel like we've been there, we've done that. And not to mention, my man, you're a father now. Of not just one, not two, I think maybe 3 kids. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But he's a father now. Things start to change when you're home and you're teaching your children and you're kind of pouring into them. And then you're like, how does he sell this fight?
The sounds of heavy leather hitting skin echoed through the gym, but it wasn't a normal session. Max Holloway looked possessed, moving with a calculated ferocity that felt like a direct warning to the man across the ocean. There was no trash talk, no social media post, just a brutal display of elite combat that made everyone in the room realize the Holloway who fought Conor McGregor a decade ago is officially dead. This version is something much darker and far more dangerous. The message was sent without a single word being spoken, but the intensity in the room was absolutely deafening for anyone watching the BMF champion work.
So speaking of McGregor and Gaethje and, you know, the winner maybe fighting Justin Gaethje, who do you think wins that fight?
Man, well, the McGregor Holloway. You see, obviously Max has got a much better chance this time around. I think before he was dealing with a McGregor that was like vibing. He was just on his game. Whereas this time, I feel like Max is going to look at him like, okay, a round and a half, he's going to be really dangerous. I've got to stay away from that left hand. I've got to make him work. But also, Max gets better as the fight goes on, right? It's a main event. It's 5 rounds. Like the first and second round, Max can kind of allow McGregor to work a little bit, almost like Nate Diaz did. Let him work, let him gas a little bit, and then start to pick his pace up. Like, if it goes past the first round, I think Holloway gets it done. But I do think the opening round and a half are going to be quite dangerous. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets dropped and has to regroup and get him back together. But even so, I mean, you know, I think it's going to be a good fight. I think we're going to get a good version of both of those guys. And I think this rematch makes...
Dream fight is Max Holloway. Obviously, he's fighting Conor McGregor in Conor's return fight in a month or so. How do you see that fight going down? Do you see Conor returning in good form? Do you see Max Holloway just putting on a masterclass? How do you see that fight going down?
I'm rooting for Holloway all the way, but McGregor hasn't put in nearly the amount of work that Holloway has put in. He hasn't been through half the battles, half the wars. And he's a southpaw with really good timing of the left hand. So I would have to throw that to McGregor, but...
I mean, last one I have to ask you about, Conor McGregor is coming back. We've asked you about him so many times. I know you didn't think we would see him again. He's fighting Max Holloway. Are you surprised to see him back? And do you give him any chance of winning against Max Holloway at welterweight?
I don't think he's gonna fight.
No, you don't. You think he'll pull out in the next month?
No, I think it's gonna be his pull out or something happen, or in this world gonna be some war gonna beginning, but he's not gonna fight.
If he did make it, let's say perfect world, he does get in the cage.
If he's gonna fight with Holloway, of course, all MMA fans gonna watch this fight. My opinion, Holloway gonna win because he was active, and when you doesn't fight like almost how many years? Like 6 years, maybe.
It'll be exactly 5 years.
Exactly 5 years. Brother, 5 years. He's now 36 years, or 37.
He'll turn 38 3 days after the fight.
Oh. Of course, Max.
Max Holloway is currently deep in the trenches of what many are calling his most intensive training camp to date. He isn't just hitting bags or running miles. He's sharpening a blade specifically designed to cut through the aura of Conor McGregor. The focus isn't on the spectacle of UFC 329, but on the cold, hard mechanics of the fight. Every session is a grind of refueling, rehydrating, and pushing the human body to its absolute limit. People close to the camp say he's obsessed with the details, leaving no stone unturned as he prepares for a rematch that has been 10 years in the making.
Our main thing now, Max is starting to finish up camps. We're making sure we get the correct looks, putting him in some positions that we may not see in sparring, just so he has the right vision and the right reactions for the fight.
One of the most terrifying elements of this camp is the company Max is keeping. He isn't just sparring local talent, he's testing his mettle against the elite of the elite, including welterweight powerhouse Jack Della Maddalena. Having a technical animal like JDM in the room provides Holloway with a look that few featherweights or lightweights can replicate. They are drilling offensive and defensive patterns with a level of precision that borders on the fanatical. The goal is to establish a muscle memory so deep that Holloway won't need to think when he's under the bright lights of the octagon.
Okay, so let's just start with the movement. We're fading weak side, offensive man, throwing combinations, and just kind of exaggerate, especially your long side offensive man, just so he knows if he's clear, okay? Because the intent is to counter, right? Is to run this guy into one of our shots, run this guy into a phase one.
The coaching philosophy behind this camp is simple but brutal. Run the opponent into a shot. The intent is to lure McGregor forward, exploiting his natural aggression and turning his own momentum against him. Holloway's team is focusing heavily on footwork and angles, creating situations where McGregor thinks he has an opening, only to find himself walking into a counter-strike. It's a high-level game of bait and switch. They are essentially building a trap that relies on Holloway's superior conditioning and his ability to maintain a blistering pace over 5 rounds of combat.
Conor McGregor on a media tour, it's very hard for me to say my favorite version of Conor. Like, Conor isn't a guy that you can very easily come in and critique. Even the greats would have a hard time. Sean O'Malley, Colby, Adesanya, some of the greats would have a hard time sitting back and critiquing Conor, as opposed to watching and then learning from him. Conor has got a new gimmick. And his gimmick right now, which I think is my favorite version of him, is overwhelming honesty. And Conor's never sold BS. He's never like peddled just on entertaining you and not caring about the accuracy to his words. He's never done that. He's only falsely sold one thing ever, which is power.
But there is a massive cloud of uncertainty hanging over this entire event. While Max is grinding in the gym, the world is questioning if Conor McGregor will even show up. It has been nearly 5 years since the world saw the McGregor who was truly special, the southpaw who could box and kickbox with effortless grace. Since then, the headlines have been filled with partying, substance issues, and a devastating leg injury. The question isn't just whether Conor can still fight, but whether he still possesses the mental fortitude to handle the version of Max Holloway that is coming for him. The contrast between the two fighters' recent histories is staggering. Max has remained incredibly active, navigating through wars and proving his durability time and time again. McGregor, on the other hand, has been living a life of luxury that rarely produces the hunger needed for a high-level comeback. Many insiders believe that the time off and the lifestyle choices will inhibit Conor's ability to handle Holloway's relentless pressure. If the fight goes past the first 7 minutes, the consensus is that the momentum shifts drastically toward the Hawaiian, who only seems to get stronger as the clock ticks. There is a strange myth surrounding Max Holloway's training, that he doesn't spar anymore. While he's joked about it in the past, those who have seen him in this camp say the truth is far different. He's sparring, but he's so elusive and technically sound that he rarely takes any damage. It's a level of mastery that allows him to sharpen his timing and distance control without the wear and tear that destroys other fighters. This ghost style of training means he's arriving at the fight with all of his reflexes intact, and none of the concussive baggage that usually follows a brutal camp. The first round and a half will be the most dangerous period for Holloway. McGregor still possesses that legendary left hand, a weapon that can end any fight in a split second. Holloway's team is well aware that they are walking into a minefield in those opening minutes. They are preparing Max to navigate the danger zone by staying away from the center line and making McGregor work for every inch of ground. If Max can survive the initial storm, the plan is to systematically break the Irishman down, much like Nate Diaz did years ago, by letting him gas out and then picking him apart. Not everyone is convinced this fight will actually happen, and the skepticism is coming from high places. Usman Nurmagomedov, the Bellator champion, has voiced serious doubts about McGregor's commitment. He pointed out that while the fight is officially booked, McGregor's track record for follow-through has been spotty at best. Usman suggests that an unforeseen circumstance might disrupt the bout before fight day even arrives. It's a cynical take, but one rooted in the reality of McGregor's long absence and the chaotic nature of his life outside the cage. If the fight does materialize, Usman is picking Holloway without hesitation. His reasoning is simple. Activity is king in MMA. You cannot take 5 years off, enter your late 30s, and expect to beat a man who has been fighting the best in the world every few months. The physical toll of the sport is one thing, but the loss of fight rhythm is another entirely. Holloway hasn't lost that rhythm. He's perfected it. To Usman, this isn't just a fight, it's a collision between a disciplined athlete and a former star who might be chasing a ghost of his past. Chael Sonnen has also weighed in, focusing on what he calls McGregor's new gimmick of overwhelming honesty. In recent interviews, Conor has been surprisingly transparent about his situation, admitting that his contract negotiations with the UFC didn't fully go his way. He's down to his last 2 fights, and no extension is in sight. For Sonnen, this level of honesty is refreshing but also revealing. It shows a man who is no longer the untouchable king of the promotion, but a fighter who is being forced to compromise. It's a shift in power that Max Holloway can certainly sense. This honesty extends to Conor's personal life as well. He's a father now, with multiple children and responsibilities that didn't exist when he was the notorious riser. As Sonnen noted, things change when you're at home teaching your children and pouring your energy into a family. The killer instinct required to face a man like Max Holloway often requires a level of selfishness that is hard to maintain as a family man. Max, while also a father, has managed to keep his competitive fire burning white hot, creating a psychological gap that McGregor might find impossible to close. The training footage coming out of Holloway's camp shows a man who is refining every single reaction. The coaches are placing him in specific positions he might encounter against McGregor, ensuring that there are no unknowns on fight night. They are drilling the fade to the weak side and long side offensive maneuvers to ensure he's always clear of the counter. It's about creating a level of comfort in the chaos. By the time he steps into the cage, Max will have seen every possible version of a McGregor attack 1,000 times in the safety of the gym. Dan Hardy, the former UFC title challenger, believes this rematch will look nothing like their first encounter. Back then, they were both young prospects finding their way. Today, they are legends with completely different toolkits. Hardy emphasized that Holloway's toughness was evident even as a kid. His growth into a complete fighter is what makes him a nightmare for the current version of McGregor. Conor is returning from a devastating leg injury and years of inactivity, while Max has been evolving into a BMF champion who can finish the most durable fighters on the planet. The jump to welterweight adds another layer of intrigue to this scary matchup. Neither man is the 145-pounder they used to be. The added weight means more power, but it also means a different kind of fatigue. Holloway has shown he can carry his speed and volume into higher weight classes, as seen in his recent masterclass performances. For McGregor, the extra weight has often been a double-edged sword, giving him more thud in his punches, but draining his gas tank much faster. Max's camp is counting on that fatigue being the decisive factor in the later rounds. Wade Plemons has observed a change in McGregor's demeanor that might worry the Holloway camp, though. He believes McGregor looks mentally recharged and genuinely excited to compete again. There's a sense that the distractions of the past few years are being pushed aside in favor of a return to his roots as a martial artist. If McGregor has truly rediscovered his focus, he becomes infinitely more dangerous. A focused Conor McGregor is a man who can beat anyone on any given night, and Max is preparing for exactly that version of the notorious Irishman. The stakes for this fight go far beyond a simple win or loss. The winner is likely looking at a massive showdown with Justin Gaethje, a fight that would be a front-runner for Fight of the Year before the first bell even rings. For Holloway, beating McGregor would be the ultimate redemption, a chance to settle a decade-old score and solidify his place as the greatest to ever do it. For McGregor, it's about proving he's still relevant in a sport that has moved on without him. It's a battle for the soul of the UFC's most exciting divisions. Max's coaches are being incredibly deliberate with the final days of the camp. They aren't trying to develop new skills anymore. The time for learning is over. Now it's about sharpening the tools they already have. They are focusing on the phase 1 of their plan, the initial engagement. Every step, every feint, and every breath is being monitored to ensure Max is at peak performance. They want him to be a machine that reacts to McGregor's movement before McGregor even knows he's going to move. This is the level of preparation required to beat a legend. The intensity of the sparring sessions with Jack Della Maddalena cannot be overstated. JDM is known for his heavy hands and relentless pressure, which serves as a perfect simulation for the kind of heat McGregor will try to bring early on. By surviving and thriving against a natural welterweight like Jack, Holloway is building a level of confidence that will be hard to shake. If he can handle the power of a top-tier 170-pounder, the power of a returning McGregor might not seem as daunting as it once did during their first meeting years ago. One thing that separates Max from the rest of the pack is his obsession with performance recovery. This camp has been a cycle of training, refueling, and sleeping, repeated with robotic consistency. He's treating his body like a high-performance vehicle, ensuring that every calorie and every minute of rest is directed toward the goal of defeating McGregor. This scientific approach to training is a far cry from the old school just grind mentality, and it's why Max is able to maintain such a high level of output without burning out or getting injured. The media tour surrounding this fight has been a spectacle in itself, but Max has stayed largely insulated from the noise. While Conor is out making headlines and selling his new brand of honesty, Max is in the gym, letting his work speak for itself. It's a scary message because it shows a fighter who is completely unbothered by the fame and the drama. He's a man on a mission, and that mission is to systematically dismantle the most famous fighter in history. The quiet confidence coming out of Hawaii is a stark contrast to the loud chaos of the McGregor camp. As we approach the final countdown for UFC 329, the tension is reaching a breaking point. We are about to witness the collision of two eras. One fighter has remained the gold standard for activity and heart, while the other is a supernova trying to prove he hasn't burned out yet. Max Holloway's brutal training camp has prepared him for the worst possible scenario, and he's ready to show the world that his time is now. Whether McGregor can find the magic one more time remains to be seen, but he will be facing a version of Max that is truly terrifying. In the end, the cage will reveal the truth that no media tour or training footage can. Will Max Holloway finally settle the score and move on to even bigger challenges? Or is Conor McGregor about to write another unforgettable chapter in his storied career? The MMA world is divided, but one thing is certain, Max Holloway has done everything in his power to ensure he leaves the octagon with his hand raised. Drop your predictions in the comments below and tell us who you think walks away with the victory. Don't forget to subscribe for the latest MMA news and fight coverage.